Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:45 p.m. and we'll start with the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is the annual budget hearing, and I would like to take roll call. Ms. Jones?
Brad Crandall.
Here.
Dawn Fortin.
Here.
Sarah Jones here. Crystal Newman.
Here.
Jennifer Sheldon.
Here.
Tim Wood.
Here.
Any public comments? And presentation, Ms. Angina Schwartz.
All right, today this is our annual budget hearing for the 23-24 budget. I'm going to just, for time today, I'm going to just talk about that, which we need to do in the budget hearing, and then we'll talk about the revision to the 22-23 in the regular board meeting when we get set. So as you'll see here, this is the summary page that you all received in your board packets. And we're looking at this column that's highlighted in yellow. And I take you to the bottom of the page first and then we can move up. But if you look right here, this shows that we are at a balanced budget, meaning our revenues and expenditures equal each other. So at this point, we are not projecting to dip into our fund balance for this year. A couple of the highlights that I want to tell you is how I built that budget. And as you know, in the past, there's a lot that we don't know. The state has not given us the budget yet for next school year, so we go on a lot of assumptions. We've heard the House, Senate, and the governor have all proposed their separate budgets, and then they need to all come together to decide on the final budget. So we do have some good information, I would say, where we can make some projections, but again, that they're still just projections at this point. We are projecting a $400 per FTE foundation allowance increase. That would take us to $9,550 per FTE next year. We're projecting, or this budget is built on 1,913 FTE, and this is a 22 FTE less than our spring 2023. So with that being said, usually our fall's a little bit higher, our spring's a little bit less, but we decided with a lot of unknowns with things that are going, one, we've been in declining enrollment, two, with things that are going on locally with the Bearcat Advantage and stuff like that, we're just not sure what that's going to do to our school of choice numbers. So we went a little bit conservative there to see where we end up. So that's what we built this budget on. We also, on the expenditure side, we built this budget with a 2.5% salary increase plus steps for the teachers. And that contract, are we bringing it today? Or
it was ratified last week.
Okay, oh, that contract was already written, so we already know that one. And then we also will be bringing the transportation contract to you in July. That's been ratified on their end, so we'll be bringing that to you to do that also. And then we have one contract that we still have open that we're openly negotiating still. That also increases the benefits, the retirement insurance amounts, stuff like that. And we added a new bus. We did not purchase a new bus last year, and we had been on schedule. We had been purchasing them one a year to get our fleet up to date. There was a period of time where we didn't have the funds to add the buses, so we kind of stopped for a gap, and then we kind of got behind on in renewing that fleet. So we've gone back to adding a bus into that for next year. So that is our general fund budget. Does anybody have any questions on that budget? Okay. There's a couple other, before I move on though, there's a couple other funds, but there's also the L4029, which was an attachment. I have it here on the screen. We do this annually, and this is the millage that we are going to ask have levy for the taxpayers. it's no different, it's not different from last year. We're still doing 18 mills for our operating non-homestead and 10.6 for our debt. But it's something that we just have to renew annually. So that will be, I'll ask you to approve that in the regular board meeting. And then going back to the preliminary budget. This is the student service fund. So this is the fundraising accounts. So these, the revenues coming in and the expenditures going out. That we don't expend any more than the money that we have. So there's a bunch of different groups. Each building has a class group. There's athletics that have groups, some clubs and stuff like that. So as they fundraise, the money sits in this fund. And then if they can expend the money that they have in fundraised. So as you'll see down here going to this last page, it shows a $50,000 deficit, but really I'm just showing that as less money coming in at this point and more money going out, but they have the funds to cover that. So it's not, it's a deficit as in the current year for revenues coming in, expenditures going out, but not a true deficit. You'll see they have a fund balance even with that $50,000 of $154,000. And we watch that very closely so that no group overspends as they're putting expenditures. We make sure that they have the funds for that before those are processed. Any questions on that? Okay. Moving on to, this is the scholarship fund. So this one, the main thing that makes this up is we do jeans days on Fridays, and staff are asked to pay $100 a year to wear jeans and Pennfield spirit wear on Fridays. And that's mainly what comes in and out of this. We also receive a few donations. If somebody passes, there's some memorials there. But this $12,000 coming in is mainly from our staff that do that, and then the $15,000 going out. Then we award $1,000 jean scholarships to seniors on an annual basis. Again, this is also.
How many of those did we award this year?
I think we were in, I don't have the exact number on here right now, but I think we awarded about 20 this year.
That's awesome.
So as some people won't use them, you know, some people come back, we work with them as they do use them and stuff. But yeah, whatever money we have in there in May, about the 1st of May, then we award that many scholarships out for the year.
That's great.
Okay, one more here. This is the food service fund. This fund, I don't know if you remember in the past, but this fund always does well, and actually the state has a limit that you can only have 3 months operating expenditures in your fund balance, and if you continually have more than that and don't spend it down, then they will stop sending you the reimbursement funds. We don't want to, for the lunches, so we don't want to get into that. So we work really hard at monitoring this, but you'll see like some projects we've done, we've painted the cafeterias. In years past, we redid the middle school cafeteria with all those graphics and stuff. They've done a lot of equipment repairs or replacements and updating the kitchens and stuff.
Last year, the board approved the new cooler at the middle school that's out back by my office. And then also, wasn't it new hoods?
New hoods, but those I actually didn't get in before June 30th, but they'll be in. Yes, we're working on getting those, but yes. So those are those projects. Also for next year, we are going to be, the whole district-wide will be free lunch and breakfast. So that's really exciting and really good news for us. This year we were, all the schools were free except for the high school, and we've been able to get to the point where we can offer that for the high school too. So we're really excited about that for breakfast and lunch. But this shows that I did some updating for the revenue, just kind of shifted where some of the revenue was coming from, whether it's from local, that was when students were paying, versus it coming from federal, and that's where we get our reimbursement for the meals. And then down in the expense side, adjusting for their salaries and benefits, and then also doing a little bit of decrease in the capital outlay because we've done some of that this year, but also still keeping some in there because we'll continually have to do that as we monitor. And then that would leave us with $404,000, which is under that 3-month threshold. So that looks really good for this year. Any questions on that?
It's the only fund that it's okay to see that we have excess expenses over our revenues because of how tight they monitor your spending. And so most districts have been on spend down plans for the last 3 to 4 years because of COVID and the reimbursement that many districts were given. When we charge students to pay, that's less money than we would receive as a reimbursement from the federal government. So, so at any rate, funds looking good, Angina.
Thank you. So that's all I have right now. That's for 23-24. I'll ask you to approve that in the regular meeting, and then we'll talk about the revision in that meeting also.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angina.
Any board comments? Public comments? Saying that now, I passed over that earlier, I think.
You said it.
Maybe
Yeah,
not,
you-
though.
You said it.
You
No,
said
you
it.
covered it.
You got it.
Okay, I'll adjourn this meeting at 5:56 PM.